Is it possible to gamble responsibly? If you treat it as entertainment, as something to do while you're socializing or hanging out, then it's possible to gamble responsibly. If you view it as a transactional, I'll spend 50 to play for one dish 4 hours, then that's the right mindset. It's a game, and if you treat it as such, you're probably in the right headspace. Treating it as an income is where people get into trouble. Spending more than they can afford to spend on entertainment is the problem, not spending it at all. The problem is gambling twigs our brains in multiple ways that makes it super easy to end up in the spending more than they can afford category, and lots of research has gone into emphasizing that brain response. Basically, the moment you start thinking you'll win next round is the moment you should stop and not gamble again for a long time, if ever. As long as you know when to walk away. As with anything potentially harmful to you physically or economically, moderation is key. When I go to Vegas, I set a money limit per day that I would use solely for gambling, different from the pile I allocate for shows, drinks, food, etc. If I lose that money, even if it's 11 a.m., I don't spend any more that day on gambling. Stick to a strict plan like that. It's possible. As someone who's gotten into a gambling addiction, I've made a few rules for myself. My rule of thumb is, leave my wallet with all of my cards except my ID at home, so if I want to spend more money I can't without going all the way home first. Take only what I can realistically afford to spend with me into the casino. If I plan on drinking, have someone drive me to the casino. When the money runs out, leave. I've won like that as well and said the same as well. Trust me, that no need slowly becomes bigger and bigger the more money you see. I don't regularly do it, but I feel like doing it sometimes, so that's why I don't lol. It's best just to have your own rules and stick to them. But the feeling will definitely grow the more you do it. Yes, assuming you don't just have an addiction-prone personality. It is possible to do pretty much all vices responsibly. I have drunk alcohol, smoked tobacco, gambled, snorted cocaine, done edibles, consumed MDMA, etc., and I am by most metrics successful. Plenty of people are able to do all the above in small doses, infrequently, and have both an enjoyable experience and still have their life in complete order. IMO, the critical thing is having important things in your life. If you're broke, depressed, unemployed, and not in a relationship, then drinking a bottle every night is a bad idea. If you are out for dinner with your wife after securing a promotion, get the nice bottle. Yes, enter each night with a budget to spend. You enter with the mindset that you are going to be spending the money for the night. If you happen to win, great, but that is just a nice surprise. If you lose every penny of your budget, you are totally fine. If you are okay with viewing your expectations being the worst possible outcome, then everything else is gravy. Just what you did in keeping that mindset of not going over your limit. Set a specific limit that you can be okay losing, play with that amount, and anything you win with that, keep. Say your limit is 100. You play through that 100 and lose it, then that's all you do that time. If you win 500, then take 400 and put it away to keep and not spend it at all. Then take the other 100 and play again with that. Repeat. You must have self-control. Because casinos and gambling is very tempting to win more when you see all these jackpots getting won and flashy lights, etc. It truly is addictive. My dad really had a problem with it before he passed away. You have to keep the make and keep the profit goal in sight. That is the opposite of what casinos want you to do. Not sure, but I spend 20 on gambling, maybe no more than twice a year. It has to do with your personal tolerance for risk and your financial position. Would you put your money in a machine where it'll probably get eaten, but maybe more money will come out? Now that you have a payout, you may be tempted to put more money into the machine. Just know, you are much more likely to lose money. If this is a risk you're willing to take, go for it. If you have money to burn, that is one way to burn it. Or, in your case, burning the money in exchange for fun might be okay for you. It depends on your values. If you value fun casual spending with friends or family or for alone time, and you also expect to lose all the money, go for it. Of course, you set a budget you're willing to spend on this entertainment activity. That's what gambling is, an entertainment activity that you're paying for, with the perk of it occasionally paying for itself. I used to think people who gambled were idiots. Then a couple years ago, I won 2K at the slots while just waiting for my friends to finish gambling on NYE. Since then, I've sunk about 4K into gambling. I started recording my win losses on my phone per game. I started recognizing that I would play with a lot more cash than before due to the thought of winning it all back on a big score. At a certain point, I started going to the casino when I wanted some more cash in my pocket. It's a slippery slope for sure. My rule of thumb would be to record your wins losses, always bring in the exact amount of cash you're willing to gamble, and try to leave with at least 20 of what you came in with. Oh, and never ever use the ATM at the casino. For one thing, the fees are normally ridiculous, but you just don't want to get used to that action. Yes, by not doing so. It's a slippery slope, but not as slippery as you'd think. One big win may not have you hooked, neither will one big loss turn you off forever. But prolonged exposure will certainly lead to some form of addiction and guaranteed losses of money. Most gambling addictions take quite a while to form, and generally happen whilst the gambler is completely unaware they even have a problem. Once the problem has been recognized by the gambler themselves or those around them, there has usually been an enormous amount of damage done that can only ever be addressed by never ever gambling again. On anything. Ever. So no, I don't think you can gamble responsibly. Because the odds are never in your favor. You gotta know when to hold M, know when to fold M. Sure, set aside an amount you're okay with losing and actually stick to that. As long as you don't get pulled in, that is a responsible way to have some fun. Sadly, a lot of people don't know that they are unable to do that responsibly until after they've already lost a ton of money. Sure, some people can and do. Before going to gamble, set a strict, non-negotiable, hard limit on gambling costs. What amount are you willing to lose spend? Once that's lost, gambling is over. Actively reselect this number each time to go to gamble. If you ever break the predetermined limit, never gamble again. Also, you'll know if you're looking for loopholes to your own rule. These are also immediate disqualifiers. It's the same as any addiction. Take alcohol for example. You can definitely drink casually and not have a problem. You can take it to the extreme where you're drinking a lot every day and you become an alcoholic. It's the same with gambling. If you casually gamble every now and then with low stakes, you're good. If you start gambling more often with high stakes, you might have a problem. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I have 2 rules to self-manage me. 1. View it as entertainment. How much am I going to spend tonight? Put it in the bet again pile. 2. I keep my piles separate if it's a race, game, roulette, or blackjack. If I win, I take 50 and put it in the go home pile, which is untouchable for future bets. The other 50 of winnings return to the bet again pile. Usually, I walk out and spend less than I planned. Once in a blue moon, I hit big and just walk away because I knew I was not that lucky twice. When the bet again pile equals 0, I'm done. This approach has served me well after learning in college that taking your utility money to the casino is not a good life strategy.